Okay, so this is a Rubik's Cube. It has 6 sides because it's a cube. And each side has a centerpiece that never moves. It's all the other pieces that move. So for example, white is always opposite of yellow, green is always opposite of blue, and orange is always opposite of red. So when you're turning the cube, the centerpieces are not moving. It's everything else that's moving. So when you're holding the cube, right now I have white facing me, so that face is called front. The face on top is called up. The face on the bottom is called down. The face on the right is called right. The face on the left is called left, and the face on the back is called back. Crazy. So, when you're doing the Rubik's Cube, there are different moves. Each face has 2 different moves it can do. It can either go clockwise or counterclockwise. So, for example, if I'm just turning the front face clockwise, that move is called front. If I'm turning the front face counterclockwise, that move is called front inverted. So each of the different steps have different moves you have to do. It will be like a sequence of moves. And so, for example, if I have to do right inverted, I have the white facing me. I remember that the white is facing me, but I turn it as though the right face were facing me, and I turn it counterclockwise, since it's inverted. And so when you see people like doing the cube all fast and such, they are still performing those moves. They just know in their brain what it's like to pretend that face is facing you and turn it either clockwise or counterclockwise, so they don't have to physically stop and reorient themselves every time. But they're still performing those same basic moves. So yeah, that's the cube. Okay, so I realize this is a weird angle, but I'm doing this so that it's like as if you were solving it yourself. I feel like it's easier to understand this way than doing a mirror image. So the first step is to mix up your cube. So the next step after that is to solve your white cross. So I'm going to find the face that's got the white piece in the center, and I'm going to get the white cross with the correct edge pieces. So I'm going to find a white edge piece like this, and I'm going to make it to where the white part is facing the bottom, and then I'm going to rotate so that my green lines up with its center, and then I rotate that 180 degrees so that the white is lined up and the green is lined up. And then I'm going to do that for the rest of the white cross edge pieces. Okay, so after I have my white cross, I'm going to solve the white corners. So in order to do that, you always orient so that your white cross is on top. I'm going to find a corner piece that's got white as one of its colors. So for example, this one is white, blue, and orange, and I'm going to rotate it so that it's got all of its correct faces. And then I'm going to perform a set of steps from the moves that I taught earlier. So it's going to be right inverted, down inverted, right, down. Got my corners solved, so I basically have the whole first layer solved. So the next step from this is to solve the middle layer, and so from here on out I'm going to have the white be on the bottom. Locate an edge piece that needs to be solved, which is basically going to be any two-sided piece without yellow in it. So for example, this one is orange and green. So the orange is facing me with my white on the bottom, and so I'm just going to rotate it so that the orange is lined up with its centerpiece. And then there's 2 different algorithms here. This piece is going to either need to go left or right. So if it needs to go left, then my algorithm that I'm going to perform is going to be up inverted, left inverted, up, left, up, front, up inverted, front inverted. So now you can see that piece is in the correct place. And then the algorithm for if it needs to go to the right is basically the same thing, but like opposite. And so for if it needed to go to the right, it would be up, right, up inverted, right inverted, up inverted, front inverted, up, front. Okay, so now I have the whole middle layer solved. So what's left now is the top layer, which is the yellow layer. So the next step is to solve the yellow cross. And this one is going to be a little bit different because right now I'm not worried about it matching up with the proper center pieces. I'm just worried about having a yellow cross. So when you get to this step, you will either have just a yellow dot in the middle, or you will have a yellow L shape, like that. Or you will have a horizontal line, or you will already have your cross. And there's an algorithm that you perform either 0 to 3 times depending on what you're working with. So since I only have the center piece, I'm going to go ahead and perform the algorithm once with my white on the bottom. So I'm going to do front, right, up, right inverted, up inverted, front inverted. So now I have my yellow cross. So now the step is to put the yellow edge pieces in their correct place. So I'm going to turn the cube to the position in which most of the edge pieces line up. So we've got this one is lined up and this one is lined up. That's 2. So that's pretty good. So now that I've got it here, I am going to perform the algorithm for this step, which is going to be right, up, right inverted, up, right, up, up, right inverted, up. So now I have my edge pieces all in the correct place. And the next step is to position the yellow corners. So I'm going to find a corner that's in the right spot. It doesn't necessarily have to be oriented correctly, but it needs to be in the right spot. So this one is in the right spot and it's oriented correctly actually. So I'm going to position my cube so that the solved corner is in the up, front, right position with my white still on the bottom. And I'm going to perform this algorithm either once or twice until it puts all the corners in the right space. So it's going to be up, right, up inverted, left inverted, up, right inverted, up inverted, left. So now I have all my corners in the right spot. So the last step here is to make those corners face the right way. So for this step, it's very important, keep white on the bottom and keep one color facing you. So I'm going to keep blue facing me for this whole step, and I'm only going to be rotating this top layer. So I'm going to perform the algorithm that I did at the beginning of solving the cube, right inverted, right, down, and I'm just going to keep doing that until my cube is in the right place. Okay, and now all I have to do is line up this orange with the rest of its face, and the cube is solved.